All right, so first thing on the agenda is the review from the last two meeting minutes. So we have to approve January 30th, 2025, and we need to go back and review and approve November 21st, 2024. So after we approve these, they'll just be posted on our website, but we need to get them approved, and just so Duncan can help us get them posted.
The
Any-
drafts are both there right now.
Let's do one at a time. Let's do November 21st first.
I move that we approve the.
There was, I had one, was that the one that I had to change, I said?
Yes.
Or was it the second one that I?
Can I
looked
have
at?
a second and then we'll discuss it? All right, so let's discuss, Jeannie has a change.
Actually, it's on it's the next one.
Oh,
She-
it's
she
January.
didn't have the word.
Okay,
Yes.
so everybody's okay with November 21st, November 21st, 2024 to approve the minutes as were sent by Tess or Jeannie.
No, the ones that are on the web.
Yeah, it was
Right, right.
draft, we asked the ones that are on the website and
Yes.
the select ones.
On the
right now.
website.
They're a draft now, but they are correct.
Yeah,
Everybody's good with, okay,
I just had a few things.
okay,
Okay, first of all, I want to apologize that I misunderstood something. I thought that we were supposed to put up one set of draft notes, like a
right,
draft. And then I thought that the only thing you could replace it with was the one that was approved. But apparently you can replace drafts.
drafts.
And I blew that one out.
Oh, it's
So,
no big deal,
and then I did spend. some-
especially when the committee members get back to you at different times too.
But I spent some time going through and listening to those videos.
Okay.
And stuff for the last two meetings. And a couple of things, even on draft 3, and I question it because I know somewhere that I read or I heard that we weren't supposed to refer to it as ARPA funds, that we were supposed to refer to it as special reserve.
It's special reserve, but it originated in ARPA funding.
Okay,
So, and then when on that special meeting, it got put in special reserve,
okay.
and now it's nowhere, it's waiting for
Okay.
FEMA.
So
maybe-
I don't think that's really important.
Yeah, we all know where the money came from, where it went, where it was, where it went, and
Where's it
hopefully
going?
it'll be back.
For some reason, and when I listened to the last two meetings, I didn't hear it. And now when you said the special meeting, I'm wondering if that's,
What
if
was
that's
happening,
where, if
yeah,
that's where I heard it.
probably at the special meeting when Josh explained what was happening
Yeah.
to the money. And remember, I don't know if you remember this from a select board meeting, just for clarification purposes. Our select board went to the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and they consulted with our auditors, and I believe they consulted with our attorney so that there was a legal way, so we wouldn't lose the ARPA funding, because many towns were having the same difficulties as we were. So that's why with the League of Cities and Towns, our town attorney and our, what was the third one I just said? That's how they came up with this, to put it in a special fund, so the town wouldn't lose the money, because if it hadn't been spent by a certain date, we had to return it. So this was a legal way to keep the money, even though we couldn't get people to do the job yet.
And now we don't have the money at all.
And now we don't have it.
But,
That's in the future, that's
Okay,
another.
but
That's kind of,
the amount of money is still, I think you need to think of it as ARPA money,
right,
because that is
is what we have to play with.
is what we have to put.
I agree.
Okay. And then the other thing, I never saw like, C-Fran summary notes. And stuff, it's in the report from the planning commission. Okay, and it says C-Fran summary notes, but they were never posted, and that's what I was asking you about.
I haven't had a chance to read them as to.
Okay.
But I assume it's what.
Was it the email summary that you sent us?
Yeah,
Okay, so could we just post the email?
well, just the paragraph.
Just that paragraph you wrote about what you found out from Virginia and,
Yeah, and that was so far.
Well, I think it's more than a paragraph, I think it's.
No, she just had a little list of,
a little
Things
list
you
of
shared
changes.
Like
And
one paragraph,
you know what, that might have even been my note to myself to put that in there, but I don't.
because I think, whatever. It's not very big.
It's,
a
yeah, it was
a
a quick
summary of where
summary,
the planning commission was headed on changes.
right,
And it was just my report.
right,
From
and
the
you,
plan.
and if I then just not, I don't have it in front of me, but just going back to it, to me, it was. I think the bottom line was, the changes they're making aren't gonna affect us.
They are, I mean, they are going to.
I mean, they're gonna be affect us, but not negatively,
Right.
correct?
So in the minutes, could it just say Fran reported on the planning commission and just
Perfect.
not refer to those might have been, I might have typed that in
Oh, it
there.
doesn't
I
matter.
For
think
me
you
to-
did,
to
because I was
me
sitting right
to-
next to you and you're, I think you
Like,
did. put
it probably
there.
meant Jeannie, when you
Just-
get home, look at Fran's notes, and I
Yeah.
just didn't. I'm guessing, because I do that.
Okay,
I mean, because actually in your report, you're saying
See,
some of what,
so I might have
Fran
even
had
done
said.
that and just not deleted that little, because when I'm here taking minutes, I sometimes just say, look at that note, look at that note. When I get home, I do. So I bet it is, just delete that line.
Guess I should delete see Fran something.
Yeah,
else.
because that's probably was Jeannie see that and put it in there, and then I did.
and that was in draft
So
3.
you're talking to yourself as
Okay.
you go along.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
And let's see. Well, this is jumping up a little bit here. It says that Hillview Design, John Lynn developed the Browns Court Park. I'm kind of chuckling because Browns Court has an apostrophe in it. Volunteers Green. I don't know if you've
It
noticed
just,
it.
it's not because it's multiple. I think that's how the
Our
town.
teacher,
said it.
our teacher.
I think the town, on the town website, I think that's even how it's
it's
referred.
named for multiple volunteers, not,
Well, here's,
The Brown family.
well, no, volunteer
Okay.
screen is named for multiple volunteers, so there's no apostrophe.
Okay,
well, you want to hear the irony of it. When I was doing the November or the January meetings, Fran had sent me some corrections, okay, and she correctly had the apostrophe after the S in volunteers. I have, I think, always been putting no apostrophe in it because that's on something on the town
In
website.
volunteer screen, there is no apostrophe.
Right, but because I was questioning my sanity and I knew that she was grammatically correct, I thought, well, the only way to figure this out is next time I'm in town, I'll look at the sign in Volunteers Green. Guess where the sign is? Guess where the apostrophe is?
after the R? Oh, no.
So
Well,
that's
there's ever
that's what
new
got me when I saw Brown's Trace. I thought, oh my gosh, we couldn't get Volunteers Green. Brown's
Oh, isn't
Court.
that funny?
Brown's,
Should we bring that up?
Right,
Duncan, did you hear that?
The sign is the sign.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
And I
I
think it
am,
was just be,
yeah. I am well aware of that. I am for no apostrophes in anything. It's outdated symbol
Okay.
in some cases, but that's just my opinion as a resident, not as a municipal member. I've served on many,
Okay.
but yeah, it's a tough one because we've had so many things. I've seen it in so many states. Just make it what it is.
okay,
all right.
Brown's Court, I think probably no apostrophe.
Well, that was to the.
Because I
belong-
think
was
it's-
the Browns
I don't-
family.
Yeah,
Up
but see,
there.
I think,
Oh, well,
I
what
don't-
does it matter?
yeah,
You know, it's
But-
gonna be that way in every
Let's
different
not do it.
report in
let's
the.
not do.
okay. The other question I had, report from Richmond Town meeting on November 9th. Roughly it says the special reserve funding was approved by the town voters. They then approved moving the ARPA funds into the special account. It says therefore the money budgeted for our projects is now reserved. Is that accurate?
Yeah. The money for Brown's Court was not spent.
The pickleball thing was.
The pickleball.
No. It was spent with the exception,
Oh.
so all of Brown's Court got approved. The only thing that got to budget first, to bid first and was accepted, the only thing that was covered was the pickleball courts.
Yeah, so that money is there.
It's there
For the pickleball.
for the
but nothing
pickleball,
else.
100%, but nothing else,
The
not
other money got borrowed.
the other borough got borrowed. I know it all got approved, but the only money that's still in the coffers in Richmond
But-
are pickleball.
But for these minutes.
But my question is therefore the money budgeted for our projects is being reserved? Is,
Eventually, yes. Once the money gets repaid to,
And we're looking like
And that
6
was-
weeks.
That was accurate on November 21st. Here we go, you know. Because that wasn't borrowed by that time.
say that again?
Yeah, it was.
It was before
It-
November,
So the 9th was the special meeting.
and it was moved into reserve,
It was moved to reserves.
yeah.
And it was all given with the exception of the pickleball courts. Just the pickleball courts, the total pickleball.
No, when did the town borrow the money?
after that,
Right, so those minutes are accurate.
Oh, that's right.
Day, of
Yeah.
that
As,
time.
as of the 9th,
So. at those
but our meeting
minutes-
was the 21st. We don't know when Josh took it. We don't know when Josh took it. The flood was, yeah, so they may have taken it because the flood was the 11th of July.
See, that's, I just question the wording of.
what difference does it make?
Yeah,
It doesn't make
I
any
would just
difference.
say
yeah,
it was put in the reserve fund. Because we all know what happened, the Browns Court got totally approved. So we know it's there.
When the money comes back and the town is ready to do the ball fields.
And the parking
And the
lot,
parking lot, that money will be.
like earmarked Browns Court. So what Josh is gonna do is take the total ARPA funds. Where they sat. And then subtract. Browns Court out of it, and then he's gonna leave the difference for volunteer screen.
Well, that's not, it's just not the impression I have, but that's.
No, that's what he,
That's just me, that's just me.
he promised the ARPA money will be returned. I trust him. Providing FEMA
Okay, and-
reimburses us.
But the pickleball court money was not borrowed.
Correct,
That money.
Correct.
is there somewhere.
yes,
I'm more concerned about the rest of our projects, is that money?
I'm not.
I'm not,
Unless we have
I
another
trust
flood.
what Josh says to us. We, now we just have to hope that FEMA does what they're supposed to, but.
Or they're not disbanded,
Pardon?
or they're not disbanded.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, that's a big concern,
But pickleball's there,
but again. Big picture. Big picture.
I think we are looking at the big picture test, and we feel confident that if we ever get to move on it and the money is returned, that we can. Then part of that resolution said that
mhm. Oh, yeah.
that money couldn't just be spent for anything.
Yeah, I
At
copied-
town meeting, I
I
don't know
copied,
exactly what I can't remember exactly what the motion was, but
Oh, no, it wasn't on the agenda.
he said it was.
And then just a couple of clerical errors. I noticed the time thing, I think something went off like 8:20. It's just not, it's in a paragraph and it should have been.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And so if you want, I can ask him to fix it.
Okay, yeah, might as well, because
To fix
if
it.
anybody goes back
Jeannie-
in,
Jeannie should be the one that's
Fixing
dealing
it.
with the minutes.
Yeah.
And with.
well,
She took the minutes
She-
the last time.
yeah,
and
she
She
took-
was going to.
so November should be
send those
Jeannie,
in, that was
January
fine.
should be Tess.
So,
Sure,
okay.
I can submit those.
Okay. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention, it's weird on my computer that I have been having so many issues with it. I think at one point, I think this document came through as a Google document. And so I sat there and I said, okay, how do I send this back to Duncan and all of that? And then I realized that there was a little icon that next to it that said I could convert it.
Convert it, yeah.
To a Word document. So I clicked on that, it showed it, and I thought, okay, great, I'll print it, because I do better looking at paper than I do looking at the computer screen. Everything was was there. It didn't pick up like the underlining and it didn't pick up like the bold print.
Mm.
So, but everything else was there. I went to print it and it only printed 4 pages. So there was like maybe 3 or 4 sentences that were chopped off. But in the view of the darn thing, the whole thing was there. So then I thought, okay, something's wrong with the print setup. And I looked and it said print pages 1 through 4. And I said, well, that's not right because this thing should read 5. So I changed it to 1 to 5. And I got a message saying something like 5 is out of the, I can't remember the words, but it was something to the effect, 5 is out of the scope of this printer. So I ended up cutting and pasting, and then I went back and I had to put in all of the, the bold print.
Yeah, oh.
That's a technical issue that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I got something you sent me to view.
Yeah.
When I tried to download it, it said it was encrypted or could not print document, so I couldn't print what I received from you. So just,
Okay,
just,
but see, there's some weird things going
Yeah.
on, like, I got an email on Gmail. And it came through as, I sent an email to somebody, and I always just sign Tess,
right,
okay? Person returned an answer, and I was going to respond. So you know how they have the 3 dots and
Yeah,
everything?
yeah.
So that first message that I sent, it had me signed off as Tessie.
This is your computer's got bugs in it.
yeah,
real
you've got
bugs,
some
like little
AI taking
monsters.
over. All right, so getting back to
Yeah.
the 21st,
November.
are we all good
So
with
those-
changes, and you'll get those
I
up?
will
Okay,
get those,
so-
yep,
Okay, do you
all
have the
all
first
those in
couple
favor of
of-
approving
I have it all.
November
I have it.
21's
I have it.
minutes with Tess and Jeannie's corrections signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, so now we're on to January 30. So Tess took these minutes
Mhm.
and we have drafts up, but we just need to finalize them.
I sent Tess today, there's 2 corrections. I'm not on the Bob Nealed meeting, so did you just take my name off of that, Tess? Or do you want?
I'm sorry, but, oh, I didn't change anything.
Okay.
I didn't change.
I
So-
thought you
oh.
were at the Bob Neal meeting.
No, I'm not at the park where you met.
Yes, you were.
No, when you went
What
around
do
and
you
took all
mean,
these
don't you?
pictures and all those things, I was not there.
Oh my God, I could have sworn God you were there.
Well, I was.
He was there.
I know I was.
Hillview, that's right, that's
Yeah,
right.
yes, yes. And then, the only other sentence that I had sent to you today was, in the minutes, it's said, I don't have those minutes up. It said you were discussing the timeline about when. I don't ever. Okay, just a second.
Yeah, I think I have.
I know right where it is. It was just, I thought something should be changed to it, yeah. There was a discussion about, this is what it says, there was a discussion about when the band shell might be torn down. I think it should be, I'm guessing that you discussed if the band shell might be torn down, what would the timeline be? So I'm just saying it should just be an
Right,
if that's the decision, because you didn't make a
There's
decision.
no
that night.
decisions.
So that's all I would say.
It should definitely be an if.
Yeah. Tess, I can do that, because I have those minutes online too, that you posted, if you want me to
Oh, that's okay.
send those
I've got-
minutes.
I've got a couple of other questions, Jim.
Oh,
Okay. So is that the only corrections you have? I totally agree with what you did. Are those your only?
Yeah, for me,
All right.
that's all.
And Tess, you have one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. My original, because I had asked, Duncan to post
Right.
something, okay? And in the original, I had broken it down so that each of those band shells was separate.
Right.
You know, like 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
3 and 4.
and that's how they're on the website.
Not now.
Yes, they are.
It's version 1 band shell, version 2 gable,
Are you
version
looking
3
One,
shed,
option two,
Are you?
version 4 triple gable.
Those are the extra files that he put, those are extra
Right.
files to look at.
Related
In the
files.
minutes,
Yeah.
it says option 1, option 2,
Yeah.
option 3, option 4.
But there's no, can I say something? Okay, but see, in my original one that I had it linked to each one, so the person reading it would click on option one, it would show it, option two, option three, option four.
But if the versions are on the website, that's all you do.
Yeah.
Okay, that was,
Cause each of the files are attached.
yeah,
Look,
yeah, and.
Oh, you're on the website right now. Oh,
this
great.
is the website.
And they are, but basically, I think what this one does is it just sends it back to that related file page.
When you open the webpage.
Yep.
There's the agenda.
Yep.
And then there's those
Right,
files.
right.
So it's.
Well, see,
there.
that was the other question, because I got the impression at that meeting that I was supposed to have it so that they would click on it individually.
Oh, got it.
We're
This
not-
is the way the select board does
we're
it.
not-
This is exactly the way the select board does it.
Okay,
You look at the related file.
Yeah, you look at the, so when I do a select board meeting, I print out the agenda. And I only print the related files that I'm interested in.
okay, so can I cross off where it says and attach to these minutes?
Absolutely.
Did you want this or are you working on that? Or no?
I'm sorry, okay. And I did find the correction, I think, about the band shell might be torn down. I think that was a correction that you had given me, Fran.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's the F.
No, this is it.
Okay, and then I got the nailed, better to post it to allow anyone to view it, and I think that was fine. On the last paragraph, or on the last page of this thing, where it says, one of our members asked Josh if we could get a bid out to build the parking lot, but was told that the money would be spent, has been spent on flood-related projects and will be repaid.
That's right.
Are we 100% sure that that's?
Are we what?
we have no idea what our government now is gonna do.
That's our understanding. of
That's
that
our,
meeting.
that's the game plan, but we have no idea, and nothing has been. As of tonight, FEMA still exists, we don't know.
Okay. And then, the town hired someone, to deal with only FEMA funding.
Well, we thought so,
Okay.
There was a woman that was hired.
yeah, and we're gonna ask
Okay.
Duncan after we get out of here.
Maybe we could ask.
Hey, Duncan, can we ask you a question? We were under the impression that the town of Richmond had hired an individual so many hours a week just to deal with the July 11th FEMA paperwork.
I think that's me.
Well, what was the woman whose name I forgot, and that was in between Tyler and.
Oh, no, Lynn is doing the select board and water sewer minutes and the elevation, projects that we have. So we hired Lynn for, I think it's 20 hours a week. This past year over in the fall, and she's done a huge help for me to do stuff because I'm not doing water sewer minutes, select board minutes, etc. and of elevation projects, and she's done a lot.
So she's not doing anything with FEMA.
Well, yeah, it is FEMA because it's part of the elevation and buyout projects. So
but you're doing-
she's working a lot with that, but I'm doing most of the FEMA
So you're the one that's-
integration.
Okay, you're the one that's submitting the 11 projects that total over $2 million.
Yes, I am.
And what does so you're our town POC, what does that mean with FEMA?
No, so basically, Josh and I work very closely with FEMA and the state to coordinate all our projects, which basically is taking all our invoices, which I can print out and see that we've spent, like you said, about 2 to 2.5 million. And then I gotta break them out into different projects. And then, sorry.
Okay, can I stop you because it's my error, I apologize. Let's get these minutes and then you can go on and tell us about
No, then
FEMA.
we have,
Well, we need
Gary's here
to,
just. to get
Okay,
some
we've got
we need to
public
keep it
comment.
On the agenda.
Yeah,
'cause
so,
like
so we're
30
gonna hold that
minutes.
conversation, but we need to understand who's in charge of what.
right, so
So-
process.
No, yeah, I'm the best contact for any flood or FEMA stuff.
Okay.
Josh is ultimately the decision maker, but I try to not make Josh have to deal with every little FEMA question, because it does get a little onerous.
Okay. All right, Ms. Tess, any other corrections?
Yeah, and I think I got your one of where it said, the two visions revised, we would hold another meeting provided we had time to, ample time to post it. I think it was a correction. You made the correction for it, I think. I believe.
Well, that's-
Long ago. We have it.
It's under the 828.
Well, you're putting that in, so we can just say the minutes would be approved with the corrections that you received. Oh,
And somewhere in here. Oh, I know, the other correction, the one that I missed on yours, Fran, and I apologize, you corrected my word plain, I had PLANE. I always mix that up, and it's supposed to be PLAIN. So I'll make those corrections.
All right, thanks. So with Cass's corrections, can I have a motion, please?
There you go.
Second.
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
yeah, I wasn't there. I abstained.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm telling you how to vote. Okay, so we're moving on to public comment. Gary, thank you for being so patient with us.
That's a very thorough minute taking.
Oh my God.
Alright, I'll try to just take 2 minutes. So, I looked at all John's plans, that was great work and I understand you've narrowed it to number 2 and 4.
Well, those are our preferences.
Yeah, so I just wanted to leave a little feedback. I'm glad you didn't pick 3, cause I mean, I see that design all over, but it seems a little
That's the-
modern for the,
Looks like a drive-in restaurant.
yeah. Yeah, I think 2 looks just kind of like a utilitarian shed. To me, it's too plain. I actually like number 4. I like where it's located. I like the little curve in the inside wall. I like the entrance recess to get in the bathrooms. I like the orientation where you have people can be in front of the area and still not be in the playground. And I like that, it's music or whatever can go out over, a much broader range than from the band shell. I have 2 suggestions. One is, the roof is about a 612 pitch, and pitch is based on 6 means for every 12 inches horizontal, and you go up 6 inches.
That's
And this is on number 4, Gary, correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
so, I think it would fit into the neighborhood a lot more if it went up to 812, which is what the round church is. Almost all the buildings on that side of the river are. What a lot of the buildings on this side of the river are, there's a little more range on this side where the architecture is a little newer, but I think it would fit in a lot better just to go to 812. And the other thing, when the shell comes down, I would like to see incorporated in this new one in the peak, that same sort of piece of steel with roots welded on it, with the rod going up through the roof and the same banner from this band shell put on it. Yeah. That's my 2 requests,
That's cool.
and,
They had
2
thought-
suggestions, look at the roof pitch.
yeah,
Should be
specifically
812, is it 8?
8/12.
Okay, gee, I got that, and then say that.
we
again,
talked
just
about
so
the
I-
banner with the metal post that has like
Yeah.
a flag thing going out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had talked about reusing some
So,
of the stuff. And trying to.
It wasn't conveyed, but they wanna try to, and help me committee, they try to wanna incorporate things from the band shell in the new one. if that's the route we go,
Yeah,
but we don't have any estimates the other way yet, you know, how much is it to repair, to tear it down, da, da, da.
Well, we have a,
Well, we have Bob
Definitely.
Neal's. Yeah, we've got Bob Neal's.
did you see Bob Miller's report?
no, I mean, I could see this committee's moving another direction, fine. I just think everything but that, if you don't go with keeping the shell, those other three choices, there's really only one good choice, I think, and that's number 4.
That's how I feel too.
We all
I think
really
we
liked
all-
number 4, and that was the higher end one, and then number 2 we went with
Two.
was the more economical.
Yeah, and it looks it too, I mean, it looks very
Yeah,
I mean, we all. prefer 4.
utilitarian.
yeah.
Now we have to find
Right.
another,
So
somebody
just to
fund
let
us.
you know where this committee is heading or hoping to head, is that we contacted, Bread Loaf Middlebury. And asked them if they would, I can't remember the terminology of an overview bid. What they might think it would be,
Yeah.
and we asked Bob Neild if he would do the same.
Well, we were asking them what it would cost for them to give us estimates on doing the project.
Exactly.
Well, what about John? Those guys bid stuff all the time.
John Lynn,
Yeah,
no, they said that that's beyond the scope of their work.
they wouldn't wanna build that?
They, not build it, we need somebody to tell us now
Oh.
what it would cost next, so.
But it
that-
hasn't gone out to, I mean, of
No,
course
the
it's not
idea
gone out to
was to talk to Red Wolf and Bob Neal and say, what would it cost
bid. And,
for you to give us the cost?
yeah,
You know,
John would be the good person to build it, he's done a lot of timber frame, and,
well, I think
John
they
Neal?
might,
yeah.
well, I think they might be interested in building, but the next step,
Right, I
they
get it.
said they need to go to the engineers.
Yeah, so with the new flood regs have not gone through yet, right? But
No,
there's
they
some
haven't.
agreement, right?
Yes,
So under that agreement, you know, that number 4 is bigger than the band shell. Do you have to count the area underneath? The water's gonna flow through 80% of that.
we have to tear down the bathrooms down below.
Well, that's fine.
to get a
It's a-
You know,
exchange,
it's sort of,
That square
it's
foot.
a credit,
Yeah,
we get it.
that we get a credit for the bathrooms up there.
okay,
So we can't go any bigger than what those bathrooms were
Right.
added to the space, but and Fran, you've been the one at the meetings with Virginia. We cannot put any fill in, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
so bathroom and,
concession.
yeah, so you can take the footprint of that whole building, put it there, but my question was. Where that building is just a roof, and water's just gonna flow right across it, does that get counted, or can you just?
Because it's got a flat surface.
Yeah, I mean, why should that, there's no restriction on floodwater,
Never thought of that.
I'm not sure.
yeah.
I just
That's a
I'm
great
not-
question.
That's, yeah,
We could, you know, there's gonna be the public hearing on. Like April 8th or. The select board is gonna be having their public hearing, but I don't think your question was one I ever would have asked. We can move the playground up as long as we don't. Create a bigger footprint and,
Is number 4 designed to be right at ground level?
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the,
So
and the
to me,
pillars,
it's not doing anything.
Yeah,
the pillars,
Ooh, yeah,
the
The
pillars
posts,
or
yeah.
the design of the pillars is like concrete or
Yeah.
whatever.
you know, a certain way up,
Yeah, high enough, hopefully. So that's not wood.
Yeah,
I mean, they were trying to take into, and the water will. Go through, but it's an impervious surface and. I
but
think
that, yeah, I mean, that,
that's Tyler. is extremely. Strict on impervious surfaces, so that may be. there's-
but when you're talking about restricting water flow,
That
floodplain,
wouldn't,
And you talk, yeah, I don't think you get into impervious surface under flood issues.
That was one of the things when we were talking about way back when, about a trail. Even though,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
even though we were gonna,
To
you know,
crush
if
stone.
we,
Block
if we ever,
people.
if we ever did, even put a gravel, they were, he was.
Right. Yeah, I remember that now too. All right, well, good luck.
All right,
Thank you for
Hey,
your
thank
comments.
you.
We appreciate it.
Gary, quick question. The rounded kind of back in option number 4, how does that affect acoustics as opposed to?
Well, it's supposed to, push it out along that same arc.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that will arc is gonna make a huge amount of difference, but.
Okay.
From a design standpoint, I thought it was a nice start.
they, only charged half of what. They would have somebody else for their services, and they're there. As we move along to give us any help or.
Right.
Thanks again for your comments. We really appreciate it.
Okay, I'll see you.
Good night, Carrie. Mr. Doug, do you have any public comments before we move on?
I do not. I'm just enjoying
Okay.
listening. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Would you like to be on the committee?
Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Duncan, I think we're moving back to you. If we could have an update regarding the FEMA reimbursements to the special fund. So if you would like to start at the beginning and just let us know, for instance, how much has been submitted? Is everything into FEMA? Are they waiting anything from the town? If you could give us an update, that would be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be very short because I do not memorize those numbers. We have gotten the 2023 flood pretty much approved. We're waiting on a lot of that money. I'm still working on submitting 2024 flood damage information, but that will not show up for another 10 to 12 months, I don't think.
So Duncan, I hate to sound like this, but I guess the flood happened July 11th. What is the holdup with getting the receipts into FEMA so we can get reimbursed?
It's a 2-tier, it's a 2 to 3 tiered process in terms of like I said, we have all our data in for 2023. We don't have all our money in from 2023. I'm still inputting in information from 2024 based on what the federal government wants and what the state government wants. Once it's approved by FEMA, it goes into the state. They get a couple of things. They ask for questions. You got to sign stuff. It's like I said, it's a longer process as you want. But like I said, we have that money coming to us, but it is an advantage for us compared to other towns in Vermont that we're not having to get loans, and we do have money to work with.
But is that?
But it's our money, Duncan. It's this committee's money.
Did the town borrow from other funds that are also gonna need to be repaid?
Let's not go down. This is the whole restricted, unrestricted funds that we go through with the select board all the time and our budget meetings. Yes, I would love to have the money yesterday. I've done all my work on most of these things. It's not anything that we can do in terms of, we have funds coming to us. You have all been approved for the pickleball courts. We still have to get approval for the funds of trees and other things. And once again, I've been in 3 other meetings this week that are talking about funds they want to use. So it's not an easy, situation of like, how does the town actually solve all our needs? So you can go through the usual channels I do, which is we get the funds when we get the funds. We try to get in line and show everyone what we want to spend the money on, and that's the best way to do it.
So this might be wrong, the 2023 floods, that money coming in, we don't have access to that money because that didn't we're access to the 2024 floods.
That's a good question, Megan. When the 2023 money comes in, could that replace the money that was borrowed from the ARPA funds from us?
Yes, once again, it's like, don't rely on my memory at this time of night always, but it's like, from what I recall from our town meetings, we took the ARPA money and put it into a special reserve fund, which was gonna be refunded. So as that comes in, we then put it into the different places. Some are restricted because it's highway, and some are earmarked for the ARPA funds, which we have a document for. But once again, the select board can make a different decision in a week or two. So it's all based on how we progress on how there's a record of how we've transferred these funds. It's like I said, I don't memorize it. We can all look it up. And then once again, it's not like written in stone, but we have those funds available for the original ARPA funds that are in a special reserve fund approved by the town to go for these types of projects, which I think everything in this would be good, but we more need to get our ducks in a row in terms of what we want to spend it on and where we're spending it.
But Duncan, if I'm correct, you just said 12 months.
That's what Josh told me.
So we won't be able.
I don't control
this
that
summer.
timeline. Yeah, I don't know when that comes in. I would love to have it sooner than later. There's many other things out of my control.
Okay, so stuff that is in your control, again, I'm gonna ask you point blank. Have you done everything you need for FEMA and we're waiting totally on them?
No, not everything. I've got tons of stuff I still have to do for 2024. 2023, we have done 98% of the stuff, but we still have mitigation projects with Dugway Road. We still have mitigation projects with the water sewer raising of the, some of the certain panels and the clear well and the pump station and the bridge. That's 2024. We're just getting all our ducks in a row. We've already gone through 3 different managers in this FEMA situation where we're doing a good job. Everyone says we're doing a great job. And it's like, we have it all lined up, but I don't want to rush projects ahead until I get all the finances in there. And it takes time because we just got a bill last week for some stuff. So it's like, you can't just push it all forward and be like, oh, we got it. And then find out later, oh, no, we had other expenses.
So our pickleball is good to go, but ultimately it looks like we have an 11 to 15 month time frame to wait for other things.
Unless Josh releases 23 money for us.
Right, and that.
Or the select, I guess ultimately it would be the select board's decision if they would release the 23 money to us.
It all depends on which buckets they have to.
Right.
Right.
Duncan, one more question. Did I hear you say you recently got a new FEMA representative working with Richmond?
Yep. No, and once again, I think the other thing that we have to also balance too is we also have the DRB asking us and Tyler of like, we got to get all our, information together of like what we want to do with our projects and how we are spending that money. It's not just this loose, like, okay, we're gonna have this money. We can tighten up our ship. Likewise, FEMA takes a lot of time to document all the time and hours. I barely even dug into the water sewer or the fire department responsibilities. We have most of our highway expenses, which is most of the $2 million that we're going to get reimbursed with, hopefully within the next year. But I can't say when we're going to get that.
Okay. All right. Any other FEMA questions or special fund questions before we move on from Duncan? Duncan, would it help I mean, is there anything this committee can do to help you? I mean, I don't know if you need more hours or if you need someone to help you. That we could help you with, like if we went to the select board or something?
No, the more the committees take on the responsibilities of everyday meetings and everyday information and stuff, that's the best help that Josh and I get. It's like when we have to do all that other stuff, that's just, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when I've spent 5 days this week, attending meetings and doing this.
Okay,
And no, it's not bad, but likewise, part of my job is to train you all to be part of that community. It's like
okay,
Josh and I should not be the ones making the decisions. I joked last night in the town center library committee. I'm a pretty good manager of the town center, but you don't want me taking care of the town center. You want me hiring other people to take care of the town center. It's like I'm looking over it, but you don't want me being, oh yeah, I fixed that. If I'm fixing stuff, that's a wrong decision. You want me hiring people to fix stuff, if you get what I mean.
I gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna move on to arborvitae trees. I wanna make sure that we answer every question you need, so you can give that to Tyler, so that we can proceed, and,
How do we proceed if we have no money for those trees?
well, we just have to. So, yeah, we just don't want any holdup, and again, can you give us an update from the development guy who's gonna build our pickleball courts? Is he ready to come in 3 weeks?
No, he's gonna get back to us when he feels like the weather's ready. I haven't heard back from him. It's once again low on my totem pole, but it's
So
yeah.
can
You
we
guys,
take
you
that-
all can help me with telling me where the trees are and where all the things are going to be, so we can go to the DRB and say this is our plan going forward, because we still need to get a final permit construction for the actual construction of the pickleball courts, which is approved, which is financially, but we don't have the trees sorted out yet. So if we want to change the trees, that's fine. We just need to go put it in front of the DRB again, and make sure everyone's being transparent with what we do with the trees and the signs and everything else.
Okay, so do you need the actual verbiage before we even break ground?
Get a permit.
No, the pickleball court is fine. It's the trees and everything else. We haven't gotten any other, but
So it's only the trees.
Tyler wants yes, before we break ground, we should have a good plan in place, from what I'm hearing, for our tree placement, because there's a lot of confusion around it. For many reasons.
Something, I even sat down with you and we drew out the plan, we drew out where every
Well,
single tree was gonna be.
the DRB,
Yeah,
there was mention of 55 trees around the court. It should have been 60.
total of it.
Yeah, around the court. Should have been 60.
Mhm.
But then they misinterpreted the application that said 20 trees around the bocce court. And they doubled that because Duncan mentioned it when he was talking about the parking lot, and he says 20 trees will be by the bocce court. So they doubled that. So then they added a couple of trees to come up with 99, which is not the number. So all we are saying is we want 60 trees around the pickleball court. Was it 4 trees around quarterback?
Right,
And whatever the number of trees is, if we build the bocce court
right, someday.
someday.
So Duncan, how can we move forward though with the trees and the signage? If we have no
Just-
money for the trees and the
We don't,
signage?
we
Just-
just-
No. Don't worry about the money. As
Oh,
Fran just stated,
Yeah.
just state where you want the trees, what are the numbers, so we all have it on public record, and then I can give that to Tyler, and if he thinks we need to go back to the DRB and get it approved at a DRB meeting, we can do that. But if we don't need to, that's fine too, but if you all could approve some sort of thing tonight, that would be the best thing that would help me move that forward. So we all get it clear of where all the trees are going in this bigger
But we're not-
plan. Not
not
just the
saying-
pickleball courts, but the whole, permit application we got from the DRB back in January.
I move that we have 60 trees around the pickleball courts. 4 around the quarterback. And 20, I got this number right.
Can you be
Fine.
specific of where you want the pickleball court trees, Fran? Sorry.
Yes,
15 on the short sides. 30 along the long side on the east.
Yep.
4 on the east side of the parking lot in the semicircle around the portalet as shown on the plan. 20, they may never get planted, but 20 along, I guess you'd say, the south boundary near where the proposed bocce court is.
So that would be on the Carroll side, the Carroll and that, yeah, south side.
This
Right.
does not mean that
We're gonna do it, it just
if we
means,
don't do a bocce court, we don't have.
we save. How many did you
No,
get?
that's what Tyler wants.
I gotta find that, I got a quote for 55, but
Okay,
that's all for the bocce court,
right,
I
so
mean,
now we're up to 64.
64.
Yeah,
But the quote per
But we
tree
want
will
to-
not be any higher.
right.
we will want the approval for the ones around the bocce court. though.
I'm
We
sorry.
want the approval
Oh, totally.
for the trees.
And the
that are on
portalet
bocce
too.
court. Yeah, that's the
We
four.
need to say exactly what I said for that.
Yes.
Yeah. 60 around pickleball,
Or around the.
portalet,
and
20 around bocce.
Yeah.
If it gets better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what Tyler needs to hear, even though I've told him 6 times.
Okay, to be a little,
So I'll picture it
if
tomorrow.
if
and I'll
bocce
do it.
doesn't get built,
Funding.
will we still plant those trees?
We're not planting the bocce trees if there's no bocce court.
No, we.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure I have that, because that I could hear Tyler could ask me that very easily of like, they might want screening there, whether or not we have the bocce court. So I just want to
No,
make sure
there's
it's all
no
contingent
screening
on
there
that.
now.
Okay. Yep, I agree. I don't disagree. I just want to make sure I understand the committee's decision on that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we know. Who you have to deal with.
Right. No, I
Okay.
know. Paying for it's a whole other story, but yes.
Okay, so for
We're not gonna
Duncan's-
plant those 20 unless we get the bocce court.
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're gonna make a motion right now, so Tyler can see it in the minutes. Fran?
I move that we plant 15 arborvitaes along the short side of the pickleball court. 30 along the long side of the pickleball court, being the east. 4 trees in a semicircle on the east side of the parking lot, on the bottom right corner. And if we build a bocce court at some point, we would then put 20 trees along the south side along the bocce court.
Do I have a second?
I second
Did you
that.
say 4
I
bathroom?
just want you to repeat that, so
Or,
for my
uh,
minutes.
Bathroom.
A portalet site.
4
Yeah,
is
portalet.
on a semicircle around the portalet. 30 along the east
Yes,
Yes. Long side.
long side.
I just want to have the words in here. And 15 along the
Two short.
Short sides, the two short
each
sides.
short
each end.
side,
North and south.
15 along each short side, north and south. Okay. Do you want me to put in here, no trees along the west side? There will be no trees along the west side, just to be
Or the
clear.
baseball field.
Yeah,
Side.
it doesn't hurt.
Because maybe that's where that extra number came from.
No, they just,
The west side of the court. Okay. So, your motion, I just want to make sure, I'm gonna read, was 15 along each short side, north and south. 30 along the east, so that is meaning total of 30.
correct.
I'll put that right in here.
Equals 30.
Okay, 30 along the east long side, 4 trees on the semicircle around the portalette, and there will be no trees on the west side of the pickleball court. Okay,
Tell
that's
me
the
what you
motion.
wrote about bocce. Read it
I
to
didn't
me.
yet. No, I didn't write
So there'll
anything
be
yet. so-
20 on the
If-
south side of the bocce court, providing
It never gets built.
if it's funded, if it ever gets built.
If and when it gets built.
If/when, yeah.
Okay,
So do we have a second on that motion?
Second,
All those in favor of Fran's motion regarding the arborvitae trees signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Can somebody send the written form to Duncan?
with a map.
mhm.
Okay,
I
thank
can
you.
do this and then.
Perfect.
Yes, if I,
No, I heard everything. I'll get the transcript and Tyler and I were gonna meet about this tomorrow anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
well, when you
This
get
is,
the minutes,
you did a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Okay, is there anything else you need from us?
Patient.
Yeah, now or like forever?
No, now.
It's, yeah, no, I think we did a great job tonight. Thank you. Sorry
Okay.
to be, yeah, I think that's just you did it perfectly. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, everyone, for pushing that
Could
through.
you
It's
just-
just, that's where we need to just get that out there and make sure.
Okay.
I'll get back to you if we need to go back to the DRB or if we need to, but I think everything's all good for the pickleball courts. We just need
All
to
right.
finalize
So
a few
Duncan, I don't
things.
wanna step on your toes. I know you got a lot going on. Would you be upset if we contacted the contractor for the pickleball courts?
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, the more the merrier, in my opinion.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we're taking that off,
exactly.
we're taking that off.
Yeah,
your
yeah,
plate.
yeah. If you all want to, yeah, it's like, yes, I'm kind of like, I've got a good relationship. I told them, yeah, tell me when you need stuff. If you all want to reach out, go for it. It's great.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
All right,
So are all the trees covered with
yes,
the pickleball?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and Fran had a great quote, so.
yeah, I saw.
And I had a thought on those trees, for the pickleball court, that we should get the pickleball players come spend the Saturday planting time.
Right, I agree.
that's great.
That's a great idea. Adopt it, just like you did it down there, adopt a tree or anybody,
Scrub a bench.
or,
Had the bench.
Sandy-
buddies up front.
well, if it was gonna be done by June, but Sandy Ferry, 7th, 8th grade. They're into trees and all that stuff. What a great community service project for the 8th graders.
We have to wait. until
I know until it's all done.
done and-
So,
and-
It might be September.
When we're talking about the signs, I'm concerned about us, I can't see how, on a kiosk, how we have to have specific words.
I know.
And the sign on the pickleball courts themselves says dusk to dawn or something, and I think we need to be talking to the neighbors. And
I have
I think there needs to be.
took tons of
hours.
pictures of pickleball courts all over. And I think I got it down.
Cool.
But I would love you just to tell me what you think. So I was thinking that there's two ways we can go about. So first off, the first thing that needs to be on the courts, and it can be simple as a 8.5 by 11 laminated. And it'll say Brown's Court. And then maybe the town of Richmond underneath with a contact number in case there was an emergency. But I think we need to label the courts, court 1, court 2, court 3, court 4. And I want to show you a picture I found, and all they are is heavy duty laminated paper. So, you know, I don't know if you guys know that laminated paper comes in like wicked hard, you can hardly bend it.
Yeah.
And then you put a hole in it, and then they did tie wraps. So I want to show you what I did. And you tell me what you think. So these are what I loved about the court signs. Players, but we won't have to do players have court reserve account, because we're not doing that. But all it says, like the little logo, Town of Richmond,
Right.
court 2.
I can make those.
I know we
I
can.
mean, I know how to
Yeah.
make those.
So that's the first one. So we'll need 4 of those, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so simple, the Town of Richmond's logo, court 1, court 2, court 3, court 4. So then if we go to open and closed, we could do it a couple different ways. So what I thought really got people's attention, I thought it got my attention. Right before the entrance to the door, they have a sandwich board. And we would just have to choose open and close times. You see the sandwich board?
Yep.
That's all it says, pickleball hours. Again, Town of Richmond logo, pickleball hours, open and
I
close.
would even suggest that be on a laminated thing attached to the, so that no one can pick this up and walk away with it.
I agree.
And it's easy to change.
If
the
we need it,
laminated sign if
exactly.
the hours are different.
Totally,
I would say.
because we're having 2 doors,
Yes.
so we need 2 signs on each doors.
Mhm.
So for the times, I was thinking that school starts at 8. Why not have pickleball start at 8? I don't like, personally, I don't like 8 PM, but I could
No.
live with 6 PM.
And there may be, again, if it's on a laminated sign.
We could
there may
change it
be
if
a
it doesn't
group
work.
that- And Wednesday nights until 8 o'clock or something, but
Right, right, right.
it's easy to change
Change.
rather than have something made on
Exactly.
a board like that. I think that would.
So what do you guys think about that?
I like the 8 to 6. I think that.
It doesn't disturb people in the evening.
No, and I think it's very respectful of the neighborhood, the children.
Right, and
babies,
if they wanted longer, we could do it.
Right. If they're a game, like you said, reach out to them, you know.
And then this was another sign, because we know that a lot of dogs use it up there. Here was another sign, dogs prohibited beyond this point. This would also be like maybe by the doors, so that dogs are not allowed on the pickleball court. Then, I also like this one, and we could do it, you know, like where all the signs on 11 by 17, like a poster board. No bicycling, rollerblading, or skateboarding, because we know that those hurt the courts.
But see,
And that's what Fran had.
this
Yeah.
sign where it came
Had it
from,
all.
it has a lot of. So.
Yeah.
We have to be. We have to be careful. We'll have to go ask Tyler. About how many other little signs.
That's right,
We can have.
that's right. Yeah, there was a very,
Or maybe it's one sign
that says.
and it says all of things.
Yeah, because
I-
you had sent, I looked at that today.
You know,
A sign
this-
like that with the wording, here was
So-
Tessa's word. Where.
Here's another little one, 8.5, 11. Courts open 8 to 8, appropriate tennis shoes or soft-soled shoes. Number 3, proper court etiquette and sportsmanship is required. Use of proper pickleball equipment only. And then another one, the next 6 is please wait outside for courts for others to finish. Number 7, please dispose of trash in receptacles. Number 8, play at your own risk. And every court had a sign that said play at your own risk.
It's something that I haven't checked. I just pulled it up, yeah.
How long does it take to play a game, Tess?
Again, it depends on the level of play, it depends on who's playing, it can be a very, very quick
But
game.
can you play a game in an hour?
Pardon?
Can you play a game in an hour?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're talking usually 15 minutes maybe for a game.
Oh,
But
And it's-
they usually like, might do 2 out of 3 or something like. They don't, a group of 4 go to play, they're
Right.
not gonna be done in 15 minutes, even though game 1 is done. It's like Dave plays ping pong, with the seniors, and they might play 3 games. This team against that team, so I think you can't limit them to 15 minutes.
Well, what and again, it depends on how many people show up at a given time. So, for example, if you had the 4 clerks and you had, say, 28 people showed up, okay? You're gonna have 16 people out there playing, okay? Those people play 1 game and then they move out and another group of 4 goes and plays.
so I think pretty easily we could edit this paper for court rules.
But I think Fran is right. I think there was a whole discussion, and I think that time I met with Duncan. It was what size was that sign going to be? We didn't have to have the words on it, but it had to even be.
Yeah.
I mean, that might have already been approved by the DRB, like what size the sign could have been on the court. I know.
Yeah, we should have all
Do you know what the size
for
was?
Tyler. Yeah, we should have all signs defined by size and content. You just can't throw up any sign. You gotta get it approved by Tyler or the DRB.
But that's not a DRB thing.
Duncan, it was 2 square feet, correct?
Well, it's right.
Well, no,
We
we can ask for whatever we want. It's
The town has a
the
sign,
proper,
doesn't it?
whatever we're asking for, we just gotta make it transparent to everyone. This is what we're asking for. There are certain rules they have. All that too, but it's like you can always get exceptions, so you just gotta follow the rules and try to.
Okay, so let's,
Post it.
for overview. What if we did 4 8.5 11s that strictly said court 1, court 2, court 3, court 4?
Do you even need 8.5 by 11?
Right,
Can't you just put number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4?
I mean, I think it looks really nice.
I can make a couple samples.
I mean-
up if you know. But I think what
Yeah, I
she's saying, that
don't-
picture you had the court, but that could be that could just be on a smaller.
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
could be
have to
on
that big.
half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it could be,
it could be 8.5 by 6. Half of it, 8.5
Mhm.
11s.
Look at it.
I'm sorry,
or,
because we don't need to do the bottom. Yeah, we could do a half of an 8.5 11.
That's a logo up the top.
Each-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a logo from Spear Street Pickleball Club.
I really could make up some samples.
Yeah, I
Get the
think-
logo off the
Website.
website and
Yeah.
have a couple of samples that we could,
We're
I could
just-
bring to the next meeting, or do we need it before the next?
And then if we did,
You don't need, well,
And it,
we may need to get a sign.
I
permit.
think, let's just do it and get it done and get them off our backs.
I can,
Not you, Duncan.
no, I'm happy to make up a couple, that's sort of.
And then if we could just come up with one, so we have 2 doors though. Do you think the court rules need to be on both doors?
Yep.
There, we could do an 8.5 11.
I'm thinking that if your doors are on that east side, and say if you put.
Or one in the
doors kind of
middle.
In the middle,
Mhm.
then maybe you could get away with just 1 sign in the middle.
Mhm,
Perfect.
For both.
And then maybe
mhm.
that sign could be 11 by 17.
This
Right.
is the sign that was in the application,
Yes,
that
And-
size.
and what
I
that
mean,
is,
the measurements here are what was
What were
So
the
what's this-
measurements roughly?
21. Well, 24 by 18.
mhm,
Oh, wow.
I think that one was too big, because I think that they said the signs had to be 2 square feet or less.
So 11 by 17, that would work because, and that would be easier for printing and cheaper.
The surface area of the sign is a little less than 16 by 18,
Perfect.
equals 288 inches.
Perfect.
That's the town, what do you?
So we do 1 11 17 in the middle of the 2 doors. So tonight, all we need to come up with is court rules and have the logo, the Richmond logo, the signed court rules. Do we even need to say welcome to pickleball at Brown's Court?
I think where this sign came from me, which I
Okay.
shouldn't have done, but it was just,
Oh, that's fine.
No,
It was-
you
I
know,
had
that's
to-
great.
you had to have it to turn in.
I thought it was a draft that we were presenting to
Yeah.
the select.
No,
It is, but it.
Well,
but
let's
it-
get it done.
It's a way to give them an idea of what we were thinking about
Yeah.
or something.
But
But
if I type it up on
think-
paper, it could still be changed. I mean,
Okay.
it's not that.
I think when I looked at the signs, I was thinking of this as being a sign like. Because originally, I think the plan was that we were gonna have a door on would have been the south end
Yeah.
and
Right.
one on the west end. And I looked at it, I thought, well, this would be an attractive sign as you're driving in.
Mhm.
But since it's not gonna be as visible,
Yeah.
this maybe looks a little pretentious if it's
Yeah.
just gonna be on the side,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And plus you can't, you could change
it's 11
Anytime.
17
Right.
if it was, yeah.
and laminated with wicked heavy cardstock.
Yeah.
Or even put on a waterproof poster board.
How are they hitched to the?
All they are is
Zip
tie
ties.
wraps, zip ties.
Yeah.
Those are all the things the DRB are gonna wanna hear.
Okay,
Well, I think the DRB, so we're talking to Tyler, it's Tyler that. We need to talk about with the sign, I'm not sure the DRB needs to.
No,
know.
you might be right. Yes, yes. But I think, yeah, the more information we can provide, the better. It's like we've gotten this far, which is great. So it's, I think we're all doing a great job tonight. Just define those certain things as best we can.
Okay.
When we're saying, 8 to 6, okay, and then in the fall, we may or may not be able to see at 6, but.
so 8 AM to 6, are we good with that?
Yeah, the only concern
one
I
could be-
have about that, it's that the whole premise behind building these things was to make it available to people of all ages. And I have concerns that people who work during the weekday.
Yeah, I,
Well,
that's saying during the summer, 8 to 8 is
Is good,
better. But,
Okay.
So
but,
that,
and we can always change it.
but I think you almost have to have two time frames.
and that's where your separate, it could be one little sign with the hours that could be changed, period, and you
Once,
don't have to know the hours exactly now, but yes, maybe it's Tuesday and Thursday, it's till 8 o'clock or something, and maybe, but we don't have to,
well, let's just
decide all
get a
that. We can
sign
just
and we
have
can
a-
always,
right.
because we
make some
can change
drafts
it, we can change them.
with hours.
Cause
and-
it's, yeah,
It'd be nice to hear
That might be,
Trace's
yes,
input
that-
from the neighbors.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
they like.
oh, that's a good idea too, maybe
Well,
Maybe.
I think we should be asking Lee to.
have a
8 to
meeting.
8 in the summertime is
Yes.
okay, and 8 to 6.
And
in the
I
fall.
just heard that
Spring.
Laura Murray is selling her house and moving. You know, as you drive in, it's the very last house before you take the right to go into Brown's Court. The young women that live there, I hear they're leaving. So they're moving to South Carolina. That's what I hear.
Is it one level?
It is.
I better look at it. huh?
It is, you better call her quick. Let's see, okay,
Is there, when Tessa's thing that she has, the roller skates, bicycle, scooter, skates, skateboard, is there, a word or two that summarizes all those?
I thought.
No wheel, no wheeled.
No wheels.
What?
Nothing on the court but feet.
No bicycling, rollerblading, skateboarding.
I
Yeah,
almost agree, I agree with Tess, I think you should spell that all out,
Okay, and
because
even the chalk drawings was a good idea.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
great
because
idea.
Again, when I did it, my concern was. Did I miss something? So, somebody's gonna come up with
Well, that's
A
why I
tricycle.
was trying to
a
think. if there was
tricycle. I
another-
know, I know.
Okay,
I know.
so
No wheeled vehicle.
I'm gonna get rid of roller
Well-
skates. And I'm gonna say no bicycles, scooters,
Well, skates and roller skates are the same thing.
There you go,
Yeah.
yeah,
no roller skates, but
we just say, no, it says
I
skates
would
here, so just
skate-
leave
I would leave
it
the
here,
roller skates on.
yeah,
I would leave.
To get the
roller
word-
well, what,
skates.
how are different, how are
Roller
skates and
skates.
roller skates different?
we don't want any ice skating on it
On
either,
ice
but I don't
skating.
think they're going to.
So no skates?
I think no
I would-
skates should cover it up every.
yeah,
Okay,
Just
so
take
no
off.
bicycles, no scooters, no skates. No skateboards.
Well, if you have no in the beginning.
Right, you don't need,
have-
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
May I interrupt real quick? Other than
Yes.
pickleball, what else can you do?
Nothing.
You.
can you?
You
technically
can't
not-
list what you can't not do. It's like, just to be honest, personally, as more a resident than a municipal worker right now.
Yeah.
I love tennis and I will play pickleball with you all soon. I can't wait for my, soon time, but we can't list all the things you can't do on that place because you could put so
Right.
many things there. So I think you need to promote it as a pickleball court, period,
The
personally.
sport can only be used for pickleball.
this court
And
can
not,
only-
don't tell people what they can't do. This is for pickleball only.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Duncan, but as we visited tons of pickleball courts, they all pretty much had the same signs on them.
Yeah, it's not for the pickleball players.
No, and I do not want to micromanage it for sure, but that's just my quick
Yeah,
opinion on it. It's like, the
then-
more we start listing things you can't do, that's impossible to do. What is this court for? Is what we have to tell people. If it is for other things, great. Can you shoot hoops? At some point, can you do other things? I don't know.
But for now, it's for pickleball use only.
Well, with the exception of the height of the net, it could be used as a badminton court.
If they had soft
So right
shoes
now,
on.
it's-
Perfect example. Or just kicking, just recreating. You can, just recreate in a court if you reserve it. And you can't use it the same way, but it is a public space. You can put a little hoop, small kids hoop back there, and that's a nice little thing, but I'm just opening up the door as a resident.
Well, I still think that the no pets, it just should be said.
Yeah.
I do think the no portable loud lighting, loud music, because that is what happened at the courts that.
Well, that's all.
Where those people were staying, either bringing their car lights or bringing their
Yeah.
portable lights and playing till 10 o'clock at night. That was. I mean, even though we have the hours, it's still. I think that's a good thing to put in.
I do too. I like the list.
Yeah,
And like you said,
But
we can always adjust it.
you can't remember, you can't think of everything.
right.
So I'm like, what? I kind of like the idea of saying something about the exclusive use of the sport, which we're very about.
Mhm.
So,
Well, if you say what's there.
Yeah.
And we said, I mean, I can make a couple drafts.
Perfect.
that- With,
perfect, I'll do
could
that.
say some words a different way and.
Yeah.
We can.
I'll send all the
Do that
pictures I
anyway.
took. And then I like 8 to 8 and I like portable lighting, loud music.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, glass containers,
No pets.
no pets.
Well, again, I think, don't you think that the hours could be on a separate piece of, just a small card, so.
I think we're
I
gonna
see.
have to have adjustable.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we can reference the municipal ordinance too, of like it follows usual municipal ordinance on a lot of things. If you're having pets, it's gotta be a certain reason, but you're doing a great job. Thank you.
And those are, yes. Good.
Um,
And there
Yeah.
will be a different kiosk at the front that will have lots of just park
No, we're probably,
info.
one of the things might be
and
another,
the
a
dog
copy of
ordinance.
this sign,
yeah,
and then.
it would be nice if,
If.
no, because I mean, they could party, they'll, bring glass containers and party on the court at night, just so there's no. Nothing in the grass, and they'll just say, yeah. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna send all my pictures that I took. And then Jeannie, can you just send us out a draft?
Mhm.
And then don't reply all, just reply to Jeannie.
Mhm.
And then when we're ready to go, we can approve it at next meeting.
We can have a-
Do we have to set a next meeting?
We have to set it up, we're not done our first one. We almost didn't have one. Okay, so we're gonna do the draft, I'm gonna send Jeannie all the pictures, if anybody else has any copies of different pictures. Or sees a picture, just grab one if you're out of state. And I'm gonna see one, I might send you some more early next week too. Okay,
Maybe I actually should probably send them to you first and look them over and then send them out to everybody. Just, because we can say draft 1, draft 2, even, sample 1, sample 2, or something. Okay, back to the minutes.
okay, so now we are moving ahead. Pickleball courts, brown court signs specific, do we wanna even do that? Cause do we just have
I
to
don't know
do
what
the
that meant.
dimensions? Are we talking about the
For what?
sign,
The kiosk.
the kiosk?
He has
I
all the
can't-
measurements.
He's
Those
got the
are all-
measurements,
it was-
I can't, I mean, that is meant to be,
when it's done,
well, yes, he has all that, but what we put up there is gonna change, it's gonna be like, more like it would have the rules, but it's also gonna be like a bulletin.
Exactly, and so all the town, that's what the town. can-
Well, there's gonna be a
The
pickleball,
ordinances.
interested in a pickleball tournament, it's gonna be XYZ
Posted,
day,
yeah.
contact XYZ.
or Little League game tonight at 6,
Mhm.
teams A and B, or the
Mhm.
Little League schedule would be in it.
But do we want to be sure that kiosk has either like a wood burn or a sign at the top that just says, welcome to Brown's Court?
Yes,
something we could
absolutely,
decide.
absolutely.
Whether it's a plaque or however, well, we'll see, here were the pictures. Just something across,
Yeah, that
That just
identifies
said-
where the
yeah.
heck you are.
welcome to Brown's Court.
Yep. And a contact number in case you ever see anything,
Yes,
with the logo of town of Richmond. And then a contact on the bottom.
And when we get rough draft of a sign for the court. And I'm willing to go in to talk to Tyler. Say,
Awesome.
this is what we're thinking,
Mhm.
and talk to him about the kiosk.
Okay,
that'd be
if
great.
any of you guys are traveling to other towns, this is really helpful. Cause it helped me when I did these, but if you're traveling to any other towns around or any other recreation areas and you see a kiosk, take a picture of what it looks like and, for the said town. And so that we might be able to use it, or the rules of the whole field, like we all already know, there's absolutely no alcohol up there. And, pick up after your dog, we've heard that enough. So, when that happens, so if you see pictures of any in other towns, other cities, just take a picture of the kiosk, what it looks like and what it might have in it.
Well, a great example is the Huntington Gorge, because
Right.
they have the town information right on it.
Yeah.
So we could just,
Yes,
as soon as the road's dry, I can take a picture of that again.
Perfect,
I had
yeah.
one, but I know I deleted all those pictures.
okay. Okay, and if you're traveling out of town and you see any different pickleball court signs or pickleballs, stop, take a picture. All right, so that one is good, Fran. We'll talk once we have a draft. Okay, water spigot placement and discussion on hoses needed to build them. So the first one, water spigot placement, we know exactly where it is.
Where the water's there.
Exactly. It just needs to be dug down. We need to get a plumber. So I have a plumber. I am gonna say, how much you gonna charge me, and have my husband meet the plumber. Put a nice, remember the thing that was or remember the wooden things that were in the parking lot that we were gonna use? All I was thinking is like
The
a four,
bollards, whatever those things.
Yeah.
That were at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
block people.
right,
Oh, yeah.
so all I was thinking
What is
is
the same?
like maybe a post, a square post like this. Have it come up, the spigot be on top,
You have a metal band around it.
Exact-
Holding
totally, that's
it, it's like a concrete post.
exactly, exactly. So is everybody good with that?
And it has a place that the hose is screwed in, but it's locked.
Right, it has to have a
Can't turn the water
lockbox,
on.
yeah, it has to have a lockbox on the top.
There are some, I think spigots that the handle you can
Put a pin in,
put a pin in or a padlock.
right,
At school, on the outside of the school building, where there are different, it's just a. Yeah, it's a special kind of a key that you just have to turn the spigot on. So a kid could never turn the spigot on,
perfect.
and the same there, so you never
Okay,
could let,
so-
the plumber will tell you that.
I know, so let me get the plumber up
Yeah.
there and see what I need, and he may have it, and I'm gonna talk to Josh.
I was gonna say, can you go ahead and do that?
Exactly, well, I'm gonna talk to Josh and say, Josh, just let us do it, get it done. So then I know we need water.
Yep.
When the contractors get here, so what I was thinking. I know we had put in our quote to buy new hoses. I hate to trash our good hoses. And why not rent a hose?
For what?
Rent it goes for us.
So. Tess, can you explain
When you're building,
what you're building?
the contractors, they don't have their own hose?
That's a good question.
I mean, I would, that's.
Yeah. I'm wondering, would it be a good idea for on our agenda for the next meeting to invite the contractor to join us either virtually or in
I,
person?
I would just think one person could
One
meet with
person,
somebody
okay.
and make that to me is a.
Yeah,
That's not a committee
Yeah,
decision.
I don't
to
wanna waste their
decide.
time.
Yeah, but so when someone contacts and they just ask, do you have your own hoses?
yeah, you get,
You provide them?
what are we gonna
How much
need?
water do you need? Is it
How much water and what exactly, how much water you're gonna need? What do we need to provide for you to build these courts? And he may not even say water, and if he doesn't, we'll wait. But I think we're gonna need it anyway.
They need water, and they'll need water to water the trees and.
Well, we're not, they don't, the contractors aren't doing the trees, we're doing the trees.
I know that, but I'm saying that we need hoses or something to be able to get to.
When
the
we get
trees.
to there, what does the contractor need to build with
Yes.
this?
We don't wanna provide the new hoses
Right.
for the contract.
Right, I just don't want, we buy new hoses to have, for our courts, and they trash them. So I'd rather have them trash their own, or rent them,
Well,
rent them temporarily. Or have maybe that's in the contractor's, that he always does this, so let me call the contractor. First, find out when can you be here? We needed you yesterday. So when? And what do you need from us to start this project, to complete this project?
That field's pretty wet though, isn't it? I mean, you can't put any kind of equipment on that field yet.
You don't think so? But it,
So by the time we have the
look,
stuff
we may
in.
get, last year in April, we had a big snowstorm. I
right,
have pictures. So,
let me just call him, see when he might be able to start, and just say, do you need to be with our committee? Would you, is there anything we can do to help you in this process?
I just know that you're not gonna be able to touch that field.
Stop.
Sorry.
No.
at some point, somebody's gotta mark exactly.
Yeah,
Actually, May. End of April. Beginning of May.
okay, Hey Duncan, can you do me a favor tomorrow, as we are asking you to do more? Can you just tell me the contact that you've been discussing and the phone number?
The contractor, yeah, I'll send you the contract
For the
information.
pickleball court, babe. Thank
Yeah, I'll do
you.
that tomorrow,
I'll
but
let
no,
you
but
know what I
yes.
find out.
Yeah, whoever was saying May is what I think the contractor told me originally. He's like, it's not gonna happen till May because they're not gonna be able to do, you can't, dig anything and then have snow fall on it like that, so.
Okay. Alrighty, so I will talk. Should I talk to the contractor first? So we're gonna need the water anyway for baseball anyway, might as well just do it and get it done.
That way you need to get permission from the town.
Oh, totally.
Water and sewer may have to go up there.
Well, they've already marked it once for me. But I wonder if he's got, how they have
He may be able to get them to do it.
right, and they may have spare parts that they're not using that a lot of shoes.
They may be able to do it themselves.
Exactly. So what's that guy's name? Cody, Steve Cody. Steve Cody. I
You'll
think I've got
contact him
something.
too?
All right, so notes, comments from other meetings held, town meetings, select board planning. So Fran, you're gonna go to the Planning.
Select board's public hearing
select board's public hearing,
on the changes.
and that's on Monday.
I said April something.
Okay,
I sent the email from Keith, but I can't remember.
right,
My mind.
and I got it as
I'm
well.
still in Aruba. Or at the
It is,
airport.
Jamaica.
I'm still at the airport.
Oh. Okay, so updates from members of the committee regarding Browns Court Volunteers Green. I have not heard back from,
This was a big relief to me from Gary, and I really appreciate his comments.
Yeah.
and as he was sitting here saying that, and I was thinking the same thing that you were thinking.
Cheers.
When it comes
If it
to
ever
fruition. It would be nice to maybe do a plaque or something on the new one,
We can take a picture of the.
or the picture he used in the Times Inc.
And make it into something.
And make it into something, so it always remembers it, but I totally, if that's all he wants, is for that flag to be used. That's a no-brainer.
That's absolutely
I was shocked.
an easy, and I know how much. That when we met with them, they wanted to put some different pieces, whether it was the. Piece of iron, they had some ideas of ways that
To
they wanted
incorporate it.
to incorporate that, so if that.
So if we ever get that far,
Yeah,
and are taking the band shell down, you can save. I have pieces of the trusses in the round church in my garage. So
Oh.
you could, we could save a couple of, have them save, rescue. a couple of
And
these.
if we could do his request, I wanna talk it with John and Ben first, but if we could change it,
The picture. of the roof.
the pitch of the roof,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was shocked and I'm floored that he's on board,
Well-
but at least
I'd like you to, I don't know, are you comfortable sharing your conversation when you asked for a quote to tear down?
Oh,
This is cute.
so at town meeting, I accosted Chris Spence, and I said. Do you do demolition? I said, could you look at the band shell? And the restrooms, and I said, give me a ballpark idea of what it costs. To demolish something like that and dispose of it, so, I was pleased that they have done that, I said, and there are different places. That they take. The different materials, this one goes here, and this one, and he said, oh. Gary's not gonna like that, and he said. And he wasn't sure that he would like it, because of. They're probably Franny and Ernie did some of the excavations, and I guess they did, I should remember that they did excavate. For the restrooms. It was, so then he felt like, well, we have this, you know, part.
So maybe we can add them into the excavation of the
Well,
new park.
You know, in that, when Gary posted in the paper, he had that whole plaque with a list of volunteers that he had taken a
Mhm.
picture of. So right there, they're probably on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
on there.
saying, if
So
we could
again,
make
that
a
could be
nice,
put in- Yeah,
that would be so nice in there.
there's a couple ways.
Like they've always kept
Yeah.
it volunteers, I don't know if it's still there, but when volunteers was built. The original playground was done with volunteer donations and they've always kept a list and I don't know if it is still there or not.
If
Oh,
you
you
make
mean
it, right.
the
When Sue did
the
originally,
soup shop.
And there
yeah,
used to be some little plaques on some of the different
Right.
pieces of different town, different
I like the
groups that, but many of those just
Gone.
got rusted.
Was
off
the-
and-
TD Bank. or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
TD Bank,
yeah,
Howard
exactly.
Bank or whatever.
Right.
so. So any other updates from any
So
other
you're gonna,
committees?
who's gonna give Hillview Design Gary's suggestions? Or just, you want me to email these when I'm making the notes? Just say, here's, just let him know. This is.
You know,
something we
maybe
talked about.
give them a call. I would just give them a call and say. Let them know what Gary had said.
Do that.
Sure.
That'd be great. Just let them know what Gary had said and. I mean, I'm not even sure it's feasible if there's a reason why they did.
And I wanted to just,
Oh, like Karen, yeah, he had some. Suggestions about drip line and whatever, and John was on. Email copy of
Oh,
that,
cool.
that was.
I think I
a
did see
month-
that.
Month or two,
Yeah, I think I saw that.
and they've worked, Gary's worked for them, so.
I got a note, is that, this is about volunteer screens, let me see. So Andrew, who works for Hillview, I think he's been asked to do some of the designing.
Mhm.
Andrew, I think it's Charpentier, if that's how
It
you
is.
pronounce his name, RJ. And he had sent a note to me and to Justin Mansfield, just wanted to circle back to see if there was anything else you need from us in regards for the playground project. It makes sense to wait until we know what direction we're going with the pavilion to make any changes. But I wanted to stay available if I am to help. I just replied to both of them and just said, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. We're trying, to figure out what, there wouldn't be any changes to the playground right now
Mhm.
until we really know what design it is. And then, I was thinking about this. We've asked Justin to do a lot of different things and he's tweaked this plan now 4 or 5 times. We don't have a contract for him, we've
Mhm.
been so I don't know how. I would just want to be careful about how much we ask him to read.
Could you ask him how he feels about us doing this? And maybe,
Justin?
yeah,
I mean, he's certainly on board. He sent them his design.
well,
But it's not, I mean, I keep updating him now and then to say, okay, here, now we have a planning commission meeting, we're gonna find out when we can. Because he had responded once to me when I was trying to figure out whether to do the grant or not, about what the time frame could be. Like if we knew by May, we could possibly, if we ordered things by May, there could possibly be built by this time. If we ordered things by September, we could possibly get built in the fall. But that's, that's not gonna happen, huh? But
We're really
It just-
talking next year.
yeah, so.
So explain it to him and then how do we say thank you for
Sticking with us.
sticking with us? Yeah.
mhm.
But,
And
yeah,
he's
we
always
can't
very
ask him
good.
to do a lot more until we.
But I also wonder. If we don't have particulars of the playground, are we holding up Ben and John?
No, Ben and
They
John
have
are
his
done.
designs, that's what I'm saying, they have.
Okay.
Justin is giving them
Okay.
their designs, he just wondered if there was anything else we were tweaking or changing,
Okay,
and I said, well, we
okay.
can't change any orientation about anything until we know.
Right,
What it
right.
is, 'cause it's, we had met, Megan and I had met with, we tweaked the plan and had everything that we wanted
In,
in it, but
Okay.
we can't say. You need to turn the preschool. hoppy, hoppy game over the
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
If we don't know what where the
Yeah.
band shell is, what the shape is, and where it's gonna be, so I just. You know, just
I
to
think
be
we just have
upfront, I just wanted to say we're still
where
on,
we are and it's funding.
yes,
Holding
yeah.
pattern.
Okay,
And then I just wanted to also tell you, you know, I had worked on the grant for a while. And it's. There was too much that the town would have had to give. And they're just not anybody that could really do that in that time frame. And then the grant also wrote back and said, it's. The main funding for that, or the main funding source was the
Parks and Rec, yeah.
national.
And we
Park
don't know what's
Service.
happened with those.
So that they sent a note out that says, you know, we just don't know what's happening. If you want to proceed, you can proceed. And I thought, I think they're kind of saying. You know, anyhow, I'm not pursuing the grant.
Okay. Oh,
And it may not
I-
even be in existence.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
All right.
thing.
Anybody
wanted
else
you to
have
know
any updates from anything they want to share? Do you want us to just read this?
Yeah, can we not discuss that tonight?
Yeah, we've got too much. We still
Yeah,
have to pick pickleball colors, court colors. And we have to do the next agenda. So read this and maybe we'll have a brief on the next agenda. Does that sound good with you?
Send that out. Is that something we?
Open meeting laws.
Oh, okay.
So is there any,
Let's
did you
do
just
that.
want us to read it or?
Are we violating it? I
Well,
guess I'm just.
Again. She admits in here, I spoke to, and this is my correspondence with Jenny Prosser. Again, she's kind of. It's not real definitive.
Yeah.
In some places, Again, I think she's basically saying, if you're gonna make an error, make it in the direction of keeping everybody informed. And
Okay.
the part that I still am concerned about is that we took that vote. You know, narrowing it down to
Mhm.
2
Two.
and 4, and I'm not sure that was properly
To
warned.
me, that was a struggle and until we decide.
What we're doing, because we still aren't there.
That was just. Our preferences on where do we move forward. There was no decision that.
It wasn't a binding vote.
Right, so are you concerned about if we pick a color for the court?
No, that's on the agenda.
That was on that.
Oh,
That was warned.
That was warned. In a way, didn't we make a decision by saying we're eliminating options 1 and 3?
We wanted to pursue. 2 options. We did not necessarily say we were eliminating the others. I think you're making
Mm.
a big mountain out of a molehill.
So,
One of my mother's favorite sayings,
Mountain.
and my yard looked just with
You know,
like lots of
And
mountains.
we may not with anything.
anything.
Yeah,
So. And our meeting was recorded, if anybody, you know, it's not like. This thing was, you know.
I think Gary said we have the best minutes around.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get it from Gary, yes. Okay, so. Everybody read it. We'll talk about it next minute. And Tess, if you're feeling so unsure, we could. We could also warn it again to vote.
But I
But
don't
I don't think
we're
it's a
ready to
vote.
on it.
right,
I
it's
know,
not a
it's
vote,
nothing, it's-
it was
yeah.
just what,
it's a
Which
direction
ones
we
do-
were
which
going.
ones do you like?
Exactly.
it's sort of like when we did the playground, we had, you know, 3 different options, we
Yeah,
talked about, we just
exactly.
talked about the pros and the cons of one or the other, it's what that's what our committee.
I've shown
You know.
those plans to my daycare parents and I told them what the other ones were. And they're like, oh, yeah, no modern stuff and they like number 4. You know, like, so,
I guess I look at it and say, when you take a vote. That you're kind of making a decision. And there's one thing to say. I really like, you know, number 2 and number 4. or-
So-
Did you make a motion to do that?
It was like
Is it
a
like if you
straw
just
vote,
kind of
which
say,
one-
no, I think I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
Because
one.
we went around the table and we all personally said, I like this one, and this, or I like this one and this one.
yeah, it wasn't a vote, an I and A or anything.
That's right, because we went around the table and we said, I like this one and this one.
What?
And I think I even have it written down as we went to the table, I did
I mean,
tally.
it's not like a personnel issue or, I
Yeah,
mean, I think we're beating the, the dead horse.
Fran and her saying.
Another one of my mother's. I
Okay,
grew up in a horse farm, you know,
so
that was.
we need to pick a color, can you help me for a second? Because
Discussion for next meeting.
I printed the wrong minutes off, I mean, the wrong agenda.
Yes,
Cause
yes.
when Duncan updated, I didn't print out the new one.
This,
Can we let-
what do you want, this picture?
Yeah, Duncan,
This
you
one?
can leave if you need to, babe. He says I'm sleeping.
This,
Yeah,
so,
but on the agenda, no,
Now I'll make sure then it's okay. Don't worry.
oh,
okay, perfect. So if we go, and I've got a good color, so. This is gonna be a vote.
This will be, about-
Okay, this is my favorite.
that's cool.
So the curtain is the red part. And then the blue quartz. And then the white lines.
Yeah.
And then Tess, can we have the green?
I think once you start getting multiple colors, your price,
Goes up.
your price goes up.
Because
But what would this color be? So I guess my question is. And I don't wanna force you into anything because here's the book.
Yep.
If this was legal for our bid, price wise, does anybody have a problem with those colors?
I'm not even, I don't have an opinion about
So
the colors.
this is
No, I
cur-
mean,
This is the
but
curtain, this is the court, the white lines, and then, what do you call the sidelines?
Whatever you guys who have seen
Tess,
pickleball courts.
what are you thinking?
we're,
See, because I played a lot on courts that have been converted from tennis courts,
Right,
okay?
so they're all.
So they're all the same color, everything. All right, and that's probably the cheapest way of going.
Yeah.
Okay. The contractor that's doing our work did this work.
Okay. And that's at,
That is at Quarry Hill. No, that's at the Edge.
yeah.
This is all the outdoor courts at the Edge.
Is
Okay,
that this dark blue
Uh,
or the light?
I think it's a light blue. I don't know, I think it's a light blue,
You're.
but this is the same contractor,
you're fading.
and I'm hoping that maybe he has leftover paint is all he does is pickleball courts.
He's still gonna charge it out for it.
But what was included in the bid? How many colors?
Well, I guess we gotta find that out, how many colors were
I think
included in
that's
the bid.
another.
And how loud do you really want that to be, the colors around the neighborhood? I mean,
Yeah.
the louder the colors, the louder the activity.
But the curtain, and you're the expert, but that is an important part of the court.
Yes,
So you need it to be a different color, or it's good to have it a different color.
So-
I think you're calling it red space.
Yeah.
It's okay, that's called the kitchen.
Oh, the
Not
kitchen.
The kitchen.
Here, I'm calling it the curtain. It's the kitchen.
It's the kitchen.
And what's
Well,
this?
Again,
The court?
it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a different color.
Okay,
We play on cement, we play on, the courts and, bronze at Camel's Hump.
right.
So it,
Indoors. on a-
indoor, it's
just
all,
On the gym floor.
yeah. So, I mean, it does not have to be the same
Okay.
or different colors. It
I mean,
can-
those colors are beautiful.
It's very nice to have it that way. I'll be.
Okay, so I'm gonna hope and pray that it was included in our bid. So I'm gonna ask him, say, oh, we got glowing reviews from you from the Edge. And we took pictures of the court and we love what you painted on. Can we have the same colors? And then he'll say, sure. And then if he doesn't say anything, I'm gonna say, oh, is there any additional charge for that? And see what he says.
The only thing that is important, I would say, is that you have a night like that has a nice contrast between, the blue and the red.
More important
The
than the-
blue and the red.
The kitchen and.
The
So you
kitchen.
have,
The curtain,
right there, you have 4 different colors.
1, 2, 3. Because the
Three.
lines
The white
are
stripe,
always white, the striping is always white.
So that's,
So 3 different colors.
no, red,
Green.
blue, green and white,
No, those are stripes.
Yeah, but still, that's
but
paint.
there's a color.
Is it a
Well, the
strip
The lines, I think, are.
or strips?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, they're like hose, I mean, I think they are
Oh, no,
heated.
no, they're paint, oh, those are painted on.
So you have.
Oh, the lines are painted?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still think. And tell me if I'm wrong, I mean, I know when you have a lot of colors and a lot, it's just vibrant in there. And how vibrant do your neighbors want?
They're not gonna see it
They can't see it
because
at
they're
all.
gonna have event, I mean,
Trees
they're gonna
and
have
stuff.
events and the trees. And if it's noisy, eventually, and if it's windy, there may be like another. Hold on, let me see if I can show you. They may have something like this,
Oh, the shade thing.
the shade thing, the shade / wind / sound.
Not immediately.
No, not immediately. But,
I guess
probably
find out
like
what's in
the
our
other
bid.
blue.
What's that?
I said I probably like the other blue, but,
okay,
it doesn't matter to me.
do you have a
more,
preference?
not really, not really.
More natural.
I think the
so.
ones, I think the
Somewhat
ones that are
subtle.
more
This item's
expensive
very-
are the gray, the red, the purple. It says somewhere in there.
Standard colors are the greens, blues, and red, purple and gray are at an extra
Okay,
charge.
the red is standard.
Standard line color is green, yellow, white, or black.
Okay.
The other colors are at extra charge. Isn't that crazy? The gray's ugly.
It may be the paint.
Oh, I'm thinking,
How would you like some more natural? Oh, I guess.
So which
I
color?
don't know, I don't.
You're looking at the green.
See, like this is all that, oh, this is the basketball court.
There was
But I
a
mean, it's
front
like the
page
same
Yeah.
color,
That had all.
like, that's all the same colors that pickleball too.
Or this, right?
where's that
Mm.
tennis?
Yeah.
That's pickleball.
Tennis are always.
Tennis is
green.
always green, right?
I guess the first place to start is though, how many was included in the bid?
Yeah.
All right. This is a bid form, so I'll read it through. Application surfaces.
And you know, neighbors will see it from, well. No,
In the,
more,
at
it's
this
people
time
in
of
the rest of
year,
the court will see it and,
At
but
this-
it's.
at this time of year. It might be more visible, just.
You don't wanna blind the softball players. when they're out.
But they're not gonna, I mean, I don't think they're really gonna see it.
That's why I said, you don't
They've
want me
been
to
looking-
get
they're
it.
Okay, does
looking-
anybody have a real strong desire for a specific color? Okay,
Not for-
before any decisions or.
Whatever paint he
Let me
has the
talk.
most of.
Exactly, what can you give us a deal on?
That's exactly.
I'm gonna have yellow. No, I promised us we wouldn't do that too. All right, so that was the last item on the agenda.
Yes, I put that back up under with Brown's Court. It just made.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, it's not on the
Yeah.
timeline, but I think that makes more sense in minutes. So updates on volunteer green, that's.
We did the checks. Talked about the colors,
Mhm.
all right. So,
So one of the things then on our next meeting agenda, so we should. I think that's a mistake that we.
We
haven't
don't
been getting
do-
the
yeah,
agenda and
right.
so we know that we wanna discuss. Or just read and talk about any questions we might have, if this is,
okay,
you know,
so,
right?
There's also, and then that puts that.
Is that my
video?
At the beginning of a meeting, we can add things to the agenda.
Mhm.
right, and we can move it all around too.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, I guess I didn't realize Gary was here just for a comment. We could have
Oh,
taken
yeah.
him before we did the minutes. Oh, got a great compliment. All right, next agenda, we're gonna put this in for like a 5-minute thing just to talk about and. And I think, yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. All right.
Hopefully we'll have,
So,
the updates.
I'll call Chris Spencer.
Oh, perfect. So we're gonna do a vote on verbiage for the signs. Are we good with that?
That, at the next. meeting.
Times two.
Yeah, we'll send,
Right.
I'll send some
Sign
drafts out when
vote
I get
times
them.
two.
yeah.
Okay. And that's one item, that's two items. This may be premature. Spoke to Judy Rutowski, who's the head of the Conservation Committee. She says we have money. They would love to be a part of,
She would.
well, she wants to come to our meeting.
Well, have
And
her
because I
come.
said, you know, I have questions, but I know others probably do too. To the conservation fund, you guys all know it's the 1 cent that we pay on our taxes. It would be nice to know how much is in it too. But, and like they've done a lot of stuff, like they did that beautiful new dam up at
Gillette Pond.
Gillette Pond. They did the parking lot for Andrews Forest.
You can do it.
What's the?
Help
what's
me
the
out. They
committee
did the
called?
Beacon Trail.
Conservation?
Those are conservation things,
Right,
so she needs to bring with her, or I need to find. The rules. or-
how is the parking lot conservation?
Well, when I was on the select board and we started the conservation fund, I would never have. To me, whatever the guidelines were, which are somewhat stated. Or historical and sort of natural.
Mhm.
We're gonna have the flag, it's over 25 years. Come on, Brent.
So,
Like
so some of the
restoring-
things that, you know, some of the things they've done, I'm not sure fit what I thought.
It was gonna be,
What it was going to be,
gotcha.
and I do think sometimes
But this is
everybody
something,
goes to them and
right,
we-
wasn't the vestibule out here done too?
that
I
was
can't think,
historic.
yeah, Gary did that with the vestibule too, but I think. Me, knowing I give that money, I would love
I just
to
wanna.
be able to use it down there for everyone.
I
to-
just wanna justify it within the
Right.
guidelines for the conservation fund.
Okay,
I could, yeah, I guess. we
I
can
can,
talk about this
let me,
can you
you
get
can
it,
have her come.
could you get the document
And I'll
and
get
maybe if we could set it out in the meeting?
Yep.
We could all read it before we get here, so we could ask her intelligent questions.
Tell me what is the conservation fund?
No, it's the conservation committee. They,
Yeah,
Oversee the fund.
they make recommendations to the select board. The select board in the end has to approve anything over $25,000 or
Gotcha.
an amount. So the recommendation to allocate this money for this project comes from the conservation committee to the select board. And then the select board okays the expenditure.
So we, and how do you spell Judy's last name?
It's like.
ROTOS.
I can
No, no
look it
T's, it's like ROS.
Hold on, I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
up. You know what, I can look it up.
Look it
on
up,
that.
yeah, look
I
her
can
up.
look it up later. So, but we're gonna ask her from the conservation. committee,
you're
we wanna
gonna
ask
get
her to
the-
attend the meeting
Yeah,
and.
and to
bring-
answer our questions,
to
talk
answer our
about
questions
what,
about what could
yeah,
or
what
could
could-
not be funded.
so do we also, I don't know, do we also wanna? I think this is gonna have to go to a bond vote too, cause I don't wanna drain the conservation fund. So I think it's gonna be ARPA monies, I think it's gonna be conservation fund, and I think it's gonna be a bond vote. Do we want information on what we have to do a bond vote?
At this
We
point,
don't have any
No, I don't
money,
think
we
we're
don't
there
know
yet.
what any prices of anything are.
Right, okay, so premature, okay,
But I think we,
But it's
you know,
thing to-
before January 6th or whatever, January 20th. I was thinking maybe that grant that Jeannie was looking at was not worth the the
I
effort.
agree,
But there are other grants that
Right.
maybe we should be looking for. I started to look at this, the
Mhm.
Vermont Community Fund.
oh yeah, I get that flyer, I get that.
Well, see, and those, like, if we could find some Vermont grants would not be as difficult to, this grant, because it was a federal
National.
grant, had so many requirements and requirements that go into 10 years from now, you still have to do this, and it wasn't right for. But yes, if we could find out, I can, that's a question I could ask Justin, even if he knows any other playground grant
Oh,
sources.
that'd be great,
Who does he suggest I write to, you know?
be great.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on the agenda? I mean, things will come up. Anything else on the agenda that we need to think about?
Look, Jeannie, back to the conversation
Uh-huh.
I had, when Denise was sailing away, about if there's another flood, asking
Oh,
that
yes,
the playground be removed.
Yes. I think that would just be,
Yeah.
you know, whether we let Josh know that ahead of time, that's just how we feel, because it's in such bad shape.
You wanna
They-
keep
They should
spending
not
money.
put any more money
Yes.
into it if something happens, if it.
You know
So how do
what?
we, is it?
And
like
maybe-
a recommendation
maybe
make?
Maybe we talk about it at our next meeting.
Okay,
And, so we know that we're
I'm-
not fixing it, we're not wasting any more money, and this will make people pay attention, get educated, and make a decision, help us
Yeah.
make a decision.
I mean, we can only make that recommendation.
Recommendation, yeah.
Right, but we could,
And I'm
select
not
board,
Well, I would make the recommendation to Josh and the select board, but.
we know, it's just a matter of time.
well, my other concern about this is we don't have, one of the things the recreation committee did was keep track of the safety reports, and I don't know, other than Pete just looking over it, you know, there's not really anybody. who
And when's
does
the
that.
last
I
time it
just
was
think
inspected?
After the last.
July
nuclear
11th?
Flood, they had to have an inspection to be able to even open it. Well, I haven't seen that report, but I mean, those
Could you
reports have
get-
some very dangerous.
Could you get that report from the July 11th flood?
Yeah.
If we're gonna be
Well, what-
talking about
yes.
it,
Okay, yep,
and then put that in our packet too?
I mean, the money they spend on.
how about it's just,
repairing
could this should be
and
just
fixing,
discuss the current condition of the playground, how about?
Yeah.
You know, what was it?
That could be the-
60,000?
Current condition, yes.
That could be that could be the agenda, discuss the.
So current condition of playground after July 11th flood. Inspection,
Well, it's just
i.e.
current,
inspection,
yeah,
inspection
yeah,
report. Okay, that sounds like 2 hours.
Yeah, and we may have more updates from,
Everybody,
So let's set a date.
money updates, yeah.
Set a
Can you
date.
tell me the pitch?
8/12. It's just 8/12. I'll go back up to that because I asked him to.
Yeah, it's 6:12 now. On number 4,
Yeah.
he'd like an 8:12.
And it was some sort of pipe to get the flag.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, next meeting.
Not illegal.
Mhm. Well, there's an April school vacation. When is that? I'm not in touch with all those things.
The 20th,
24th, right?
April vacation?
Yeah. Well, the week of the 20th, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah, the week of the 20th.
I'm gone probably, I don't remember the dates. Or so.
Okay.
Last week of April.
The 28th, 29th, 30?
Or you
We're
gone?
gone for about 16 days.
Where are you going?
We're gonna go on a river cruise.
Does she even unpack her suitcase?
I don't know.
Who
What-
is
Like
talking?
European reference?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wanna, you know,
Honey, I gotta
starting-
get out of
we're
here
actually
January, February. I'm
Starting
losing
in
my mind.
Brussels and going up to
oh,
where Amsterdam.
that's.
Oh, fun.
It's not a Viking, it's which is the one you see advertised on.
There's
AMA
another-
or something,
This is
Avalon.
no. Who, for crying out loud, Grand Circle.
Grants, oh, yeah. Yaggies have done those, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit cheaper than Viking. We did one in Eastern Europe quite a long time ago.
Wow.
Very nice.
So you think
Okay.
you're gone,
Definitely the last week of April. first
well, there's
week.
only 3 days in the last week.
Okay, then it's before that,
Okay,
Easter, you're leaving at Easter's on the
No,
20th.
we're leaving right after Easter.
20
So it's probably like the Wednesday after.
Okay, that'd be the 23rd. So maybe we can go till May. Obviously, nothing's gonna happen fast, so. Because
okay,
otherwise,
May
it's
14th.
not enough time.
May 8th.
I have a dental hiking appointment.
Wouldn't it?
That's,
Wouldn't it be better to do it in earlier April?
we're
I don't
already
think
the
we're
end of
gonna have
March.
any information.
You know, I don't think we'd have enough time to gather. We don't have to make any big decisions.
Well, we can do, I mean, I can make the phone calls.
We gotta ask Bob Neal and John Johnson and.
An overview, I didn't write it down what they called that overview bid, there's a special name for that. And I'll be damned if I can remember what it was.
Did, Kendra have some certain days she can and can't, or do we just keep it on Thursdays? Is that?
I say
Kind of
keep it
what
on
we've been doing.
Thursdays, what about May
So May
1st?
8th is,
Or 8th,
I'm gone in May 1st.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
do
not
May
there.
we won't be back then either.
are you
Yeah.
back May 8th?
I think today. I think we come
Well,
back.
wanna tentatively do it for May 8th?
Yeah.
And then if we need to meet sooner because he's ready to go or wants to see it, where's he from again? Where's the contractor from again?
They're actually in New Hampshire, Monroe, New Hampshire.
Monroe, New Hampshire, okay. Okay,
But can't. You guys make, I
In an
mean,
executive.
we don't have to have a meeting, I mean, we already have,
so are you guys comfortable with Tess and I picking the colors?
yes, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So we'll make the decision for the colors.
as long as they're on pink.
Yeah, it's not gonna be
No,
crazy.
right, yeah.
The colors in the book, that's.
I think,
Yeah, the colors in the book.
okay, so we pick the colors, but we present it to the committee, right?
Nope,
This-
you and I are gonna choose them.
you
Yeah, that's housekeeping, that's stupid stuff.
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't
know, We
care.
made all the decisions on the contractor, on this, on that.
Yeah,
All of that was.
We're
you
making
know,
the
we just
decision
said that
on
we would be
signs.
available to the town to give advice and,
yeah, we don't
I
need
mean,
to.
like, we're not gonna vote on the colors of all the pieces of the playground.
No, we're not.
I just think
The overall package we
you
did.
already you got a
We
bid.
got a bid, we got the package. We're good.
Maybe I'm being picky on,
You are being picky,
I think
picky.
you are.
But thank you
That's
for
like
keeping
usual
us.
Stuff,
but
but
it's, but it's.
Do you want us to vote to authorize?
yes, there we go.
You want us to make a motion?
Yes, do that. So
I
I
make a motion.
I'll make. the
Yeah,
motion.
go ahead, so I can type it.
Authorize Tess and Denise. To talk to the contractor and pick out the colors.
I second it.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So we had, on our agenda, we were gonna vote on colors. Because we don't know if there's an additional cost. We can't vote, we don't know the answer. They just gave us the authority as a committee to make that decision. It's not a big decision, so we're good. I know we're good. Thank you.
Motion that we adjourn.
I
Second,
second it.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you.